Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of M365 Voice. I am Sarah Haase.
And I am Mike Marlani.
And I'm Antonio Mayo.
If only people could listen to what we talk about before Mike hits record, it would actually be very entertaining for everyone. So we are here today to talk about one of my favorite topics in the Microsoft 365 suite, and that is Microsoft Viva. And I think we're going to kind of do a little bit of an assortment of talking about some of our favorite Microsoft Viva products that are already out, some of the ones that are coming out. The one thing that Microsoft has talked about is that Microsoft Viva, when did they introduce it? I think it was like February of 2021.
I think
that they announced it.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years already, eh?
It was right after that podcast we did with Chris McNulty, that first one we did with him.
Wow, that's a good memory. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Everyone, if you go out and listen to and find that podcast episode and then comment on one of our YouTube videos on it, Antonio will give you a special prize. We don't know what that prize is, but he'll come up with it.
Sure, I'll make something up.
A trivia question. So Microsoft Viva was originally announced just over 2 years ago. Can you name trivia question the first 4 products that were included within Microsoft Viva?
I think so.
Connections,
insights,
topics, and learning.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Very good, Antonio. So those were the first 4 components. And I thought for this episode, it might be fun to talk about experiences maybe that we've had with using the different Microsoft Viva products that are already out. And then we can talk a little bit about ones that I can talk a little bit at least about ones that have been announced or that are coming out soon. So Mike, what's your favorite Microsoft Viva product or the one that you have used the most?
Connections is the one I've used the most because the one that I've deployed the most is Connections. Just from a SharePoint background, way back in the early days when we had to do it manually with some PowerShell scripts, and you have to go and create the home sites in SharePoint and set up everything. But this is my favorite because it's in you bring in your content, your SharePoint, your pages into your Teams. So that one unique experience, if everyone is in Teams and this is what you use 90% of your productivity tools, that it is there, that you don't have to go around and jump into a different window or platform to get the information you're looking at. So this is the one I've always implemented and I've deployed for most of the clients I've dealt with is the Connections first.
I love Viva Connections too.
And with that one, Sarah, I think it was you that first said it to me. Viva Connections made having a well-structured, well-built intranet all the more important because suddenly you're getting a lot more eyeballs on your intranet. And you want it to be a good experience for them.
Yes, agreed. And it needs to be beautiful. It needs to be interactive and have a good information architecture. And what I love about Viva Connections is that it isn't just your intranet with a capital I. It can be an intranet with a lowercase I. And what I mean by that is in some organizations, the intranet is actually built on Microsoft 365, in which case your Viva Connections home site and that experience inside of Microsoft Teams may be your company's official intranet. That's a capital I intranet. But for other companies, maybe their intranet is on a different platform, or maybe they're not ready to have their entire communications department jump on board with having a home site. So they start out with a home site that's really a Microsoft home or another type of a home with what I call a lowercase I intranet site, where it's a meaningful site that you expose in Microsoft Teams. So it can be your official company intranet, or it can be something else.
Exactly.
Antonio, do you want to talk about one of your favorite Microsoft Viva products?
Sure. So my favorite Viva product is Viva Topics. So I love the idea of having AI models that scan your content, extract topics, use various heuristics and tools to identify what topics are important to people throughout the organization, and then create a knowledge graph. And from that, you can create a knowledge site and have these topics that point you to more information and make it really easy for people to learn about what is this thing in my company that I don't understand the acronym or I don't know what it is. And it's really easy to click on it in experiences we use every day, like SharePoint pages, emails, when working in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and other places to click on the topic and go to more information. I feel like SharePoint had stops and starts around that a long time ago. If you remember, I think Infopedia was a thing at one point, and
Right.
we had other things like that. This feels like a real thing. So yeah, that's my favorite one.
Well, you're going to be shocked to learn that one of my favorite Microsoft Viva products is Viva Engage.
No.
Which is
I'm so surprised.
Yeah, I know, because it's the new brand name for Yammer, and we all know I'm a Yammer girl. So I love Viva Engage because it's an excellent way for organizations, for everyone to be able to have a level playing field to be able to interact, regardless of whether you're working in the same geographic area, you're hybrid, you're remote, you're in person, whether you know the other people that you're working with or whether you don't. It's really gives everyone a voice, gives everyone the ability to be part of a conversation, to provide answers on what they know, or to be able to interact with other people based on a community or a subject matter of interest, whether that is around a work topic, whether it's, the Excel community that you have for people who love using Microsoft Excel and want to share what they know, or it could be about baking or running or Pilates, any of those kinds of topics. You can have a community in Viva Engage for that. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity for employees and for leaders to be able to interact together.
Yeah.
I have found it so our company adopted Yammer at first, maybe a couple of years ago, and we had various starts and stops around Yammer, and this time they put some serious effort around it, especially getting our leaders to adopt it and use it. And I've been amazed at just how that experience has evolved, how good that experience is, and just this idea of creating a community that people just share information on. It's different than communicating in a team. It's different than communicating by email or in a chat. And it feels, when it is a community like that, it feels like a much better experience in Yammer. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but it doesn't work the same in those other experiences. So yeah, I've seen over the last couple of years, just it really start to take off, really get adopted by people.
Yeah, I don't use it much, but what I've done, if we continue on the list of stacks, is learning. I don't know if you have deployed it or used it, but I don't think it gets a lot of love. Maybe I'm mistaken, but learning is one really, really cool thing that you can have in an organization where you can target topics, not Viva topics, but different topics to learn about, different courses. You can have your own. You can download things from what's available on Microsoft or the web. You can bookmark things if you're interested in a specific topic and you want to learn about it, but you don't have time. It's actually I use it quite a bit in my own tenant because it's always a quick read and it tells you how long you read about an article or a video or whatever. It's actually pretty powerful. I don't know if it's a hidden gem, and not many talk about it though. But it's really I love using it.
So Mike, is Viva Learning an LMS, a learning management system, or is it something else?
It's you can think about it as an LMS, but it's you can
LMS
develop
light.
it as an LMS internally if you want to. Yes, definitely you can. Out of the
LMS
box,
light,
it's
you were
not.
saying, too?
Yeah.
But I think you can also connect it to a learning management system that
That's
you
correct.
have internally to be
That's
able to
correct.
help build that bridge between the M365 space and your LMS.
I see. Okay.
And one of the actual cool things that when you can share a course or you can share a topic with someone else. So if I'm having a conversation with you and said, oh, by the way, I've been reading about this and you want to learn about it, instead of you going and searching for it, I can actually send it to you in a chat, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So one of the Viva products that I'm the most excited to see come out is Viva Amplify. And this is in my day-to-day role as a product manager, right? Viva Amplify really centers around the ability to create communications campaigns, to be able to set objectives, to be able to define key messages, and then be able to create content inside of Microsoft Teams as part of whether you're a communications team, product management team, or a cross-functional team, that you can work in Viva Amplify in Microsoft Teams to create communications, and then you publish. And you can publish out to, eventually you'll be able to publish out to an email, to Teams, to Viva Engage, to a SharePoint news page, for example. And it's basically creating the content in one area, publishing out to many, and then being able to take a look at the analytics and how your communications are taking effect.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this one as well. I really, really like it. Few clients that wanted, when we did the deployment of SharePoint and intranet and Viva Connections, they were specifically looking for something like this. So they do have their own email campaigns or marketing campaigns with a third-party tool. And they were looking for something that can be done within SharePoint initially. But this is really cool. This is basically ties everything together.
And Viva Amplify is in private preview now. It's supposed to come out in the back half of 2023. So we should know more in the coming months.
And are those communications with Viva Amplify targeted at an internal audience, an external audience, or either one?
I think you could do either one, depending on the medium. For example, if you were going to output or publish out to an email, I believe that you could configure that email to go to internal and external audiences, I would assume, but I don't know that answer yet. I assume that that's the case.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe because of the Outlook part, of the Exchange part. But from a SharePoint Online, is only internal. Teams is internal. Engage is internal. But email may be able to do external as well.
Okay, so it's been targeted as kind of an internal communication. It's been positioned primarily as an internal communication tool, not like a marketing automation system or that kind of external messaging system where you blast people externally.
Yeah, it's really positioned more as an internal, and it hits home for a lot of my communication background, right? Because done a lot of work in the content management space, and I love the idea of authoring it and then being able to take those building blocks of communications that you author and publish them out to many places, and then be able to track the analytics. So I'm excited about Viva Amplify.
Could you use it? So whenever we roll out, new capabilities within Microsoft 365, we often focus part of our efforts on a change management program, a communication program to help, increase adoption of the thing. Could Amplify be used for that? Could it be used as that communication vehicle for change management?
It's not a communication vehicle. It's used to manage communication campaigns.
Correct.
So in other words, it's used to manage the campaign itself. Gotcha. The output of Amplify would be the different communications published out to different areas.
I see. Okay. So yeah, you definitely could use it for that kind of change management programs for managing that.
So are there other Viva products? I have a few more that I've heard of that I'm excited that are either out today or that are coming soon. Have either of you used Viva Goals?
I have
not. I've not.
So Viva Goals is out already today, and it really is about the ability to define goals, or OKRs, which are, what does OKR stand for? Objective Key Results, I think. I think that's what it stands for, but it's the ability to define objectives and goals, be able to track progress on those within Microsoft Teams as part of Viva Goals, and then ultimately to be able to grant visibility to goals across your organization in a meaningful way.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I haven't had any chance to either use it internally or with clients or deploy it. Nothing yet.
Same here. We've got a different system, a different HR system for managing that. But it sounds really interesting. Does it tie in with other tools like does it give you visibility on them within Teams or with emails that you receive? Like, do we know what that connection is like to the other
It's
tools
already
we
out
use?
today, so because it's a Microsoft Viva product, of course, you can interact with Viva goals directly inside of Teams. I mean, that's one of the core functions of all of the Microsoft Viva products. So I haven't used it in depth enough to be able to answer all of those technical questions, but I'm excited to be able to play around with it more.
What about Viva Insights?
I was gonna say that right now. I use it, but I don't know if I follow the trend of Viva Insights because as a consultant and I sync too many calendars, Viva Insight thinks I'm crazy that I have so many meetings and I don't have any any free time. But it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool that knows, let's get all the insight about your work-life balance kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We do. I do receive those emails, and I do usually read them. And they're interesting. It's interesting what it shows you about your work habits, because sometimes you're not aware of what your work week is like. So kind of surfacing that, I found, oh yeah, I did have a lot of meetings this week, or I didn't really have any focus time, or I really should focus on this other thing. So that I find interesting. I've had people ask me about, do you help organizations roll out Viva Insights? And I'm like, there's not much to do in rolling it out. You kind of turn it on. I find maybe it's just from a consulting perspective, but the real work in Viva Insights from a consulting perspective is interpreting the results, figuring out what is the next best step to help the organization or the individuals improve. And that's not a technology thing at all.
Exactly.
That's understanding work habits. It might be a little bit of an HR thing. It might be more of an employee engagement thing, which maybe that's why it's part of Viva. But it's a whole other skill set that I don't have, and I don't know many people that do, of interpreting those kinds of Viva Insights results and then helping an organization, evolve to help people work better and have better work-life balance and be more productive and all those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Did you all see, because we were just at the M365 conference last week, I got a first look at Viva Glint. Have you heard of Viva Glint yet, which is coming out?
Yeah, what's
So Viva Glint, it's supposed to GA this summer of 2023, they say. But Viva Glint is really around organization-wide employee surveys and feedback. So it's really meant if you all have those employee experience surveys that you have at your organization, it's supposed to be able to create that kind of experience to be able to survey your employees and then create dashboards for your different leaders to be able to highlight things like the survey analytics, action items, and take behavioral data, even from Viva Insights, and combine it with the org-wide surveys to be able to provide some meaningful data. They showed some examples of it last week. I think it's going to be really interesting. Haven't gotten an opportunity to play with it myself, but Viva Glint, I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I had no idea that's what it was. Like our company, thinking about our company, we get those surveys every once in a while, and I know our executives take the results of those really seriously and try to figure out, okay, what do we do to improve this aspect of the organization or this other aspect? So that's really interesting. And then having it, like you said, connected with Viva Insights as well, so that you can perhaps get a broader picture of how the organization's doing. That's cool. What other Vivas do they have?
I've got more because Microsoft has more. Viva Pulse. And Viva Pulse, Viva Glint is really more about, at the macro level, about organizational insights and surveys for employees. Viva Pulse is the micro level. So Viva Pulse would be an ad hoc ability for managers and leaders to be able to solicit regular, confidential, kind of ad hoc feedback from their teams. So it'd be the ability for, if we all worked for Mike to be able to send us a Viva Pulse engagement to be able to provide that confidential ad hoc feedback about how he's doing. I would have feedback on how he's doing. But, to have that kind of engagement at really more of a micro level, that would be Viva Pulse. And that's summer of 2023. So still waiting to be able to get our hands on it to experience it.
Okay. What else do we have?
I have more. Viva Answers.
Okay.
I'm going to end on Viva Answers because it circles back to my favorite, which was Viva Engage. So Viva Answers is really the ability to tie in Viva Topics and Viva Engage to be able to have people ask questions and to be able to leverage AI and your Viva Topics to be able to recommend answers to people based on the questions that they type in. So I think it's going to be fantastic. I haven't been able to play with it in detail as much as I would like to yet, but I think Viva Answers is really going to be a very interesting blend of AI, Viva Engage, and Viva Topics to be able to bring that recommendation engine to life to be able to answer employee questions.
Does it give you this notion of an authoritative answer within Viva Engage? Is that what Viva Answers is about, or no?
It could, because one of the features that we have in Viva Engage is the ability to upvote answers. So for me to be able to mark an answer that, Antonio, that you provided as the best answer, or to be able to upvote your answer over Mike's answer, et cetera. So I do think it has some level of relevancy ranking based on those types of things.
It's pretty interesting that it's a combination of both. So like a chatbot or AI and humans as well. So if I let me ask you this, I don't know if you know the answer to it or not. If I post that question and the AI somehow could not find it because it's a brand new topic or question to the organization, to the tenant, what happens? Now, is it posted like Engage?
For someone to answer in Viva Engage, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
I think it will be. So, and I don't think we've covered everything here by any stretch. I think the one thing we know about Microsoft Viva is that they're going to continue adding products into that Viva suite or the Viva bundle.
I have heard that they're going to have Copilot within Viva Engage. Is that right?
Yes.
That sounds really interesting. I don't know what that experience is going to be like or how you would use it, but I've seen a lot of cool stuff from Copilot recently.
In my session last week at the M365 conference, we actually had an interesting conversation about it because Copilot inside of Viva Engage, think of it this way, if I was a leader in an organization, I could leverage Copilot to help to take a look at other Viva Engage posts, to look at employee sentiment data, and to start helping me with, instead of looking at a blank page and trying to come up with a Viva Engage post, to get me started on a topic or to get me started with being able to put words together. Now, the interesting thing about that is that I think that people are very interested in making sure that before you have Copilot, that there should be a checkpoint between Copilot helping you as a co-pilot to creating text and then not automatically posting it without there being that gatekeeping function or the real life Antonio function of making sure that it's still you and that it reflects who you are. And we had some really interesting dialogues about that last week.
Very interesting.
I do feel good about that extra step being there, that a person has to. I think that's what you're saying, that a person.
I don't know that it's going to be
post.
there. I don't think Microsoft has said, but I've heard a lot of people asking for that stuff to be there.
That. Okay. I would ask for that too, that there's that final, okay, I want to review it before posting, right? Make sure it's in my voice, make sure it's saying what I really want it to say. Just I feel like there's a bit of a leap there that I'm not ready for AI to just post stuff on my behalf. Yeah, automatically. Very cool.
I'm going to stop there unless one of you has more to talk about Microsoft Viva, because I could go on for a long time.
Anything about Viva Sales? No, I don't know anything about Viva Sales.
I know nothing. I know nothing about Viva Sales.
No, so I think it's going to be interesting to watch the Microsoft Viva suite as we know more, and I can guarantee we'll be doing more podcast episodes on Microsoft Viva.
Absolutely.
I think so.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. We will catch you next time.
All right. Thank you. Bye.